This is Saurabh, and you're listening to my favorite talk show, The Weekly Show with Aditya.
This is episode this is episode 348 on the 7th of April 2021, and I welcome you to this very special episode. Let's look at the highlights for this morning's episode. The road to the 350th episode continues as the greatest talk show on the planet reaches towards a milestone. Then there is also the discussion on brick and mortar shopping versus lazy online shopping. And then our final discussion, is that something called spirit of the game? Can a sport survive without controversy? Because if you want spirit of the game, then you can go to the bar. But before that, welcome back after the break. Let's start our discussion. There is this animated discussion over whether, due to the current events and the events of 2020 and 2021, shoppers should stop going for physical shopping, that is, to brick and mortar stores. I think that idea to only restrict oneself to contactless and online shopping is a ridiculous idea. Let me just give you an example of this. Contact free shopping and payment is the order of the day, and many brands and consumers have prioritized caution. Well, I think this restriction to online shopping, for me, online shopping is an indication of one's laziness, that we can't even go out and buy goods, because for me, if I have to buy a mobile phone, a laptop, or any such commodity which requires some kind of research, that research cannot be done sitting at home. I think that idea is a little preposterous and it doesn't work, because if we do that, it reduces us to hypochondriacs and agoraphobics. Yes, certain events have changed the way we think, but we cannot limit ourselves to the fact that I will not shop because I cannot go out, because I have been told not to go out due to certain reasons. At best, I can shop for books because books sometimes may not be available at stores. So shopping for books is still acceptable, but to shop for ACs, refrigerators, or any other such appliance, which unless we go to the market, we do some research, we ask the person there, the salesperson, what is the cost, what are the different kinds of fridge, because it's impossible to do any kind of shopping. Virtual browsing of a shop doesn't work when it comes to such appliances. You need to use your cognition, you need to take your time, because if we buy and then if we get a product which is substandard, then we will only blame ourselves. But more to follow, stay tuned. So, according to a few individuals who are involved in this business, there is a definite uptake in consumers preferring these modes for quicker transactions and shorter queues. There is a 60% increase in consumers choosing to pay via cards and e wallets. But can you afford to pay for such expensive appliances from home, knowing that you may not receive the exact quality of product unless you go out, you buy, you do some research? I will never buy a phone from the internet unless I go to the shop. I look at 2 3 models of the same phone, whether it's Android, iPhone, or any other such brand. As far as brands are concerned, I have to go out, I have to do some browsing. That is touching the, that is the tactile feeling. Unless that feeling comes in, it's very difficult and it's very illogical for me to order online. And beyond that, sitting at home by the click of a button is just something that has consumed us. Can we afford to become hypochondriacs in this situation? Because that's what is the message that is being sent. And then one day, just believe me, one day when this picks up pace, this lazy online shopping mood picks up pace, then what will happen? Another group of pseudo experts will come and say that people are spending too much time at home, they're sitting on their computers, on their chairs, they're not moving from there, and one day they will have back, neck, and other issues. So why to if that is something that can be anticipated, then why go for it? Why wait to have back, neck issues? There is nothing wrong in going outside. Yes, there will be reasons not to go, but it has to be planned in such a manner that it doesn't feel as if you are going into trouble. But as far as shopping is concerned, I'll prefer the brick and mortar shopping anytime, even if it means I don't shop now, I shop after 6 months or a year. I may delay my shopping, I may delay buying the products, whether it's buying shirts, shoes, socks, or buying ACs, refrigerators, or any other such appliances. I may delay that. I may go with the current appliance that I have, but I will never go for online shopping. And talking about shopping with respect to the which are not goods, that is the shirts, shoes, socks, the most important is shoes. If people are actually buying shoes online, how do you know that shoe will fit? Just like ACs, refrigerators, and such appliances, unless you go to the shop, you try on 2 3 pairs of shoes. You cannot buy the one that you like, and it's more than just buying it. It's about feeling the shoe. Does it fit you? Do your toes hurt? Do your toes touch the top of the boot? Can your heel fit in nicely when it comes to slippers, sandals, or shoes? It's not practical. Buying online such things will never work. But if that's the way where people are going, I think that will lead to trouble because you may not get the actual appliance you wanted. I have been through it a couple of times, so I never order such concrete stuff. At the best, I order books because I know there will be no issues as far as books are concerned. But for other products, I may delay their buy or I may not buy at all because I'm satisfied with my current appliances, even if they are getting old and may contribute to e-waste once I discard them. The question is, even if I buy a new phone tomorrow, what do I do with my old phone? Do I use it? Can I discard it? Is the waste discarding policy in place? Even if it's in place, lot of information is on that phone. Even if the information is deleted, it can be recovered. So even if my phone is slowing down, it doesn't bother me as long as I can make a call on my phone, send a text. Other features such as watching videos on my phone or browsing through photos on the internet, I never browse the internet on my phone. So my phone is never in contention to slow down. So for me, this is a win-win situation. But before we go further and talk about another interesting point, let's take a short break. Cricket is such a strange game that a term has evolved, fair play, that you need to play to the spirit of the game, to an ethical timeline to an ethical limit. When it comes to the spirit of the game, if people are interested in playing to the spirit of the game, then you better go to the bar because you will get a lot of spirit. But as far as playing a game is concerned, the focus is on winning. Now, a player from our neighborhood was playing with South Africa, a team, and that player almost led his team to the winning end before a controversy erupted. What was that controversy? Let's take a look through this video. As you see, the player smashes the ball straight to the fielder at long on. The fielder hits it back to the keeper. The keeper pretends that the ball is going towards the baller's end, whereas it was going towards the batter's end at the striker's end. And this erupted into a controversy that the wicket keeper deceived the batter and the batter could not reach the crease in time. Now it's become a debate. Let me just highlight a certain point. Questions are being asked of De Kock's deliberate attempt to distract Zaman, but I think it's not deliberate. I think it was a brilliant ploy. As far as a sport is concerned, your aim is to win. Your aim is not to play nice. As long as the players don't indulge in physical altercations, I don't see anything wrong in what happened. And if it was wrong, why didn't the on-field umpires not declare it null and void? Why didn't they say no, it's wrong? Why didn't the video umpire, the third umpire, say, I'm sorry, according to rules, what the keeper did, what the team did was wrong? They should have not done that. That is the rules. That's not fair play. But the umpires said nothing. Either they went with the decision or they don't have the powers to overturn such things. They could have easily said it's a dead ball, it won't count, or you give penalty runs. They could have got 7 runs. But I think conversations after this incident happened, the match referee doesn't interfere. He doesn't find the captain of that team. He doesn't find the team as a whole. The opposition team don't complain. They should have complained on the spot. The match should have been stopped. The video replay should have been played again. The match referee should have come and said, no, this is not a run out. In fact, we will go by the rules, but it doesn't happen. And when it doesn't happen, then there's no point debating about it. So was it wrong or was it right? If it's about the spirit of cricket, I think the players and the people who question this can head to the bar. But there's no point discussing it when the game is over. So as far as the game is concerned, I think I agree with what the fielders and the team overall did. They deceived the batter. Don't we do that in chess? Don't we have a double play? It happens. Doesn't this happen in hockey? It happens in every sport. Can you fake something? Yes, you can fake something. You can fake it. As long as the players don't indulge in physical altercations or give abuses enough to hurt the batter or the team, I think all this is fine. And if it's not fine, then the umpires should have interfered. And when they didn't interfere, then whatever the spirit of the game is, after the match, they can go and have that particular spirit, or they can have some water and enjoy the spirits. But I think it doesn't make sense to have the discussion right now. So as far as I am concerned, there is no unethical, it's not immoral, it's not wrong, because what's wrong and what's right in cricket, the rules are so vague. There are so many governing bodies, the private bodies, the international body, and then we come up with another body which tends to keep the morality of the game, called MCC. What role do they have? It still baffles me. We shall discuss this further, but before that, let's take a short break. Welcome back after the break. Continuing about this controversy of this particular incident where the keeper fooled the batter into thinking that the ball was going somewhere else. I think it was brilliant. There is no controversy in this particular matter. And if it, and I said, if there was a problem, what were the umpires doing? Why didn't they interfere? Why didn't they exercise their authority? Which shows that the umpires in cricket are the most powerless umpires, powerless referees in any sport. And then on the other hand, if the umpires do not interfere, they feel it's fair, then there is no use discussing. If it was wrong, then the International Cricket Council and other such multiple and confusing governing bodies should have given the green light and said that it's out or not out. And deceiving the batter, I think it was the batter's mistake in this case also. If you look at this video carefully, the batter was also running casually. He did not run fast. After hitting fours and sixes, he was not on his feet. He could have dived. He was seeing somewhere else. As the batter said, I was looking at my partner. So I think it's not just the fault of the batter, it's the fault of the fielder and the team. It's equally the fault of the batter. The batter didn't run fast enough so that he could have saved it. Even sometimes batter also deceive it. They try something else happens. Don't bowlers try slower deliveries, bouncers? Don't they say that the field is set for a bouncer, but they go for a yorker? The batter anticipates a yorker, but they go for a bouncer. Don't these things happen? Deception is the way sports is played. Sports is all about deception until and unless it does not lead to physical altercation or any kind of verbal or physical abuse. I think it's fair play. And if you're worried about fair play versus winning, winning goes ahead anytime. That's my opinion, and that's what should count. Welcome back after the break. Let's start some reading. After an interval, the psychologist had an inspiration. It must have gone into the past if it has gone anywhere, he said. Why? Because I presume that it has not moved in space. And if it traveled into the future, it would still be there all this time since it must have traveled through time. But I said if it traveled into the past, it would have been visible when we came first into this room, and last Thursday when we were here, and the Thursday before that, and so forth. Serious objection, remarked the provincial mayor with an air of impartiality, turning towards the time traveler. Not a bit, said the time traveler, and to the psychologist, you think you can explain that? It's presentation below the threshold, diluted presentation. Of course, said the psychologist and assured us there's a simple point of psychology. I should have thought of it. It's plain enough and helps the paradox delightfully. We cannot see it, nor can we appreciate this machine, nor any more than we can the spoke of a wheel spinning or a bullet flying through the air. If it is traveling through time 50 times or 100 times faster than we are, if it gets through a minute while we get through a second, the impression it creates will of course be only 1/50th or 100th of what it could make if it were not traveling in time. That's plain enough. He pressed his hand through the space in which the machine had been. You see, he said, laughing. The reading section continues next. Welcome back after the break, and now we shall resume the reading section of Karl Marx's Das Kapital. Exchange value. Let us take two commodities, example corn and iron. The proportion in which they are exchangeable, whatever those proportions may be, can always be represented by an equation in which a given quantity of corn is equated to some quantity of iron. Example, 1 quarter corn is equal to X weight of iron. What does this equation tell us? It tells us that in two different things, in 1 quarter of corn and X quarter of iron, there exists in equal quantities something common to both. The two things must therefore be equal to a third, which in itself is neither the one nor the other. Each of them, so as far it is exchange value, must therefore be reducible to this third. A simple geometric illustration will make this clear. In order to calculate and compare the areas of rectilinear figures, we decompose them into triangles. But the area of the triangle itself is expressed by something totally different from its visible figure, namely by half the product of the base multiplied by the altitude. In the same way, the exchange values of commodities must be capable of being expressed in terms of something common to them all, of which the thing they represent a greater or less quantity. This reading section continues live and next. this common something cannot be either a geometrical, a chemical, or any other natural property of commodities. Such properties claim our attention only insofar as they affect the utility of these commodities, make them use values. But the exchange of commodities is evidently an act characterized by a total abstraction from use value. Then one use value is just as good as another, provided only it be present in sufficient quantity. Or as old Barbon says, one sort of wares are as good as another. If the values be equal, there is no difference or distinction in things of equal value. And 100 pounds worth of lead or iron is of as great value as 100 pounds of silver or gold. This ends episode number 348 on the 7th of April 2021.
For more awesome content, tune in to the next episode of the weekly show.